This episode of Vic's Basement is brought to you by EB Games. Support us by buying your video games at EB Games. Welcome to my basement, everybody. You too, Scott Jones.
Thank
perk
you,
up,
Vic.
perk up, man.
Thank
It's basement
you, thank
time.
you,
It's Friday.
Well, it's
Friday.
August, Vic. I should be on vacation this time of year.
True.
I should be camping. I should be in the woods.
You don't consider this a vacation?
Work every day?
This is a vacation right here. This is this couch.
Vic, you know what?
It's like a sandy beach
You know what?
overlooking a sea of action figures.
You are correct, sir. This is like some hell beach that I've been marooned on with my colleague.
All right, okay, tell me where you would like to be. Bruges
Yeah,
or
that's
Whistler?
the only place I want to go. Bruges or Whistler. Those are my two options.
Where else would you like to go?
I like Montreal this time of year.
Montreal's nice. It's
very warm.
Sweaty balls out there.
I know,
so
but
muggy and hot.
It feels like the French-Canadian ladies might be a little scantily clad. You know what I mean? That means not wearing much.
Bonjour, French-Canadian ladies.
Bonjour. We haven't said that in a while.
Sorry to offend anybody out there.
How are we offending anybody?
With our terrible French accents.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, well, let's thank everybody, first of all, for coming and joining in or listening later or watching later. We appreciate your support very much.
It is Friday, so that means a lot of the people watching right now probably aren't at work anymore.
Right.
Everybody takes a half day on Friday except us.
Yeah, we start our second half.
That's right.
With the basement.
This is the beginning of the weekend.
Is this you whining about how hard this work is right now?
When
Sitting
do
here
I
chatting
ever
with
whine?
me?
I'm just excited.
When
I'm
does
excited
the wine
to be
tap
alive.
turn off? Silence. Oh, listen to it.
Listen, I feel like there's a lot of violence in this room.
Why, with all my figures?
I feel like maybe the creature from Sinister 2 is with us.
We haven't seen that movie. We can't talk about that movie.
Well, we saw the first one.
Yeah.
Had our good friend Ethan Hawke in it.
Yeah.
You still friends on Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
even
the new
after
one,
that driving movie that he made, that terrible one.
He's made a lot of bad movies.
Yes.
But,
yeah.
The second Sinister, I'm curious about it because I really liked the first one, although it had some low points, but for the most part, it's all there.
Well, the director of the first one, interestingly enough, is directing Doctor Strange. And the rumor was that Ethan Hawke was going to be Doctor Strange. Of course, it's Benedict Cumberbatch.
What is Doctor Strange?
This is it's phase 3, I think, of Marvel, right? I can't keep all the phases right. They just released a little bit of stuff at D23. Out in 2016, Benedict Cumberbatch is our man, and Scott Derrickson, I think, is the director.
Yeah, Scott Derrickson. He's also co-writing the screenplay.
And he's co-writing the screenplay. Very interesting character. Takes the Marvel universe now into magic, which we haven't really done, right? It's been mutants and science. I guess there's been a little magic with the Thor stuff, but this is a different take.
Are we talking about video games?
There will be tons of Doctor Strange love in the video game space. We're going to see him in Disney Infinity, which is out next week. Can you believe it? 3.0,
All right.
Out next week.
I feel like there's a lot of Disney, a lot of Marvel, a lot of Star Wars.
Well, that was D23.
And it seems like a lot of, from my point of view, a lot of BS.
A lot of stuff that you're not excited about.
But I know that we're coming into the busy season for video games. And when that does happen...
Let me put you on the spotlight spot right now.
When that does happen...
What are you most excited about that's coming up this year? No,
I want everything.
You tell me one.
I want everything.
Metal Gear Solid 5?
No, I don't want that. You want that.
Okay, which one do you want?
I want everything but Metal Gear Solid 5.
Mad Max video game.
I want that, but I don't know about it. You know, I like the movie, though.
Yeah. Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
No.
Halo 5.
Yeah.
So what are you excited about?
Mirror's Fudge. Did you play that?
Mirror's Fudge. Mirror's Edge doesn't come out until 2016. This is the 2015 season that we're about to get started into.
I really don't want Rock Band. I don't want Guitar Hero. I don't want that.
No, those are coming.
What is
Super Mario Maker?
Oh yeah, I want that, but it's not really enough to get excited about.
Yoshi's Woolly World.
Really? Get out of here.
Have you seen the Amiibos?
I did. We've already gone over this. I didn't like it.
Incredible.
You liked it.
Star Fox Zero.
No. I mean, I'll play it, but I'm not excited about it.
This is Miyamoto's love game. He put all of his magic sauce into this. So I can't make this not sound gross.
Give me some more. All of Miyamoto's gooey, sweet magic sauce is in there.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, Miyamoto put tons of love into this game, and there's lots of throwbacks to the classic Star Fox stuff. I know it looks like Star Fox 64. I know that.
I like Star Fox 64, but it's fun for like 10 minutes.
It was not enough of a wow after the original Star Fox on Super Nintendo, which was amazing, right? But maybe this will blow our minds when it comes out.
I don't know.
I'm excited.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I feel like something good is going to happen, though I can't really articulate what it might be.
You excited for Spectre, the new James Bond movie?
Oh, get out of here with that,
Are
man.
you excited that Diego Luna is in the Star Wars standalone movie called Star Wars Rogue One that a video game writer wrote?
No.
Wow.
You're what?
Tough crowd,
not excited for Fallout 4?
Yes, Fallout 4 I'm excited for.
November. What else?
Yes, that's one.
What else
Check.
big is coming that I'm forgetting?
Mulholland Drive is coming to Blu-ray for the first time.
No, we got to stay on video games.
Yes. Not a huge fan of David Lynch's Mulholland Drive. Weirdo. So you're not excited about the Star Wars and Marvel stuff that Disney?
No, I don't. Why do you
announced?
ask me? You know I'm not. I don't care. Like this D23 thing is going on.
It happens.
I don't care. That's enough. I don't care. I don't need these. I don't need an announcement or a pre-announcement of a Star Wars TV series that's going to be released in 2019. Who gives a shit?
Okay.
Like make one movie and show me that it's awesome
again.
again.
Well, let's flip the script. Tell us why you're excited about Fallout 4.
Let's talk about something else. Fallout 4 is a huge, mature world where all kinds of very adult problems will be solved by me.
And your gun. And your dog.
I don't want to kill anybody. I love everybody. I love my dog. I don't know. Like I want.
You're gonna try to not go into the bats.
I don't know why are we so excited about these superhero universes? I know we've made some money and there's been some success so far, but
we haven't made any money. We've watched other people make lots of money.
But I know that they've made money. That's fine.
Yes.
But it's like Jesus Christ. Let's just make one more good one and see if we get one. You see how quickly this can go wrong. Look at Fantastic Four. I feel like this is a warning sign on the roadway.
Fantastic.
No, we
don't.
That
was a weird anomaly.
That we can't. We have to hang on to it.
Nobody's going to be that terrible.
Yes,
ever
they
again.
will.
Never
for
again.
sure. For sure.
That is like the warning sign on the road that just goes off into nowhere.
But looking back at the Avengers 2, which we enjoyed.
Yeah.
Who's the guy who directed it? I love that guy, Joss Whedon. That guy almost killed himself making that. We just don't have that many. We don't have enough people to throw in front of the superhero bus.
I'll tell you something awesome that was just announced today. It's a rumor.
And it wasn't announced.
All right, it's come out. George Miller looks like he's going to be directing Man of Steel 2. Now, do you want to see a George Miller Superman movie?
Oh, Jesus.
I do. Come on.
You want to see any superhero movie.
I do.
You want to see a
but
superhero
George Miller
movie directed by Ruby.
That would be great. I can't wait to watch those. No, but George Miller coming off the strength of Mad Max. He was supposed to direct the Justice League movie in 2008, and then Warner Brothers pulled the rug out from underneath him. But now he's rumored, and I think it's a pretty good idea. He's going to go back into the Superman lore with Man of Steel 2.
Okay.
All right.
You want to muse about that for a minute?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I think he's just an unbelievable visualist, and he knows how to put a story together. He knows how to frame a shot. He knows how to make us care about characters, even if they don't have tons of dialogue. He's a pretty tried and true, impeccable film director.
Okay.
And I think he's going to put a really nice thumbprint on a new Superman movie that lifts off from what Zack Snyder created. I'm excited.
Was wretched.
It was not wretched.
Just to give a shout out, Don Fubar was in the chat.
Yay! Don Fubar. Ask him how, or I guess I can ask him, how was the WrestleMania event in New York City? Because he was just out there for us. What did he say?
I'll let you know in 30 seconds.
Okay, in 30 seconds.
Remember, there's a delay between what's happening right now.
I know. I wish we could, I guess Google Hangouts would be the only way to do this with everybody popping in, right? It would be madness.
Yeah, that or witchcraft.
Or witchcraft, yes. All right, well, what are some non-D23 things that happened this week, Blake, that we should talk about?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
It's August, so there's nothing really going on. Everybody takes a half day on Friday, except for me.
You're fixated on this, aren't you?
I have a good one.
Yeah.
Xbox One, we just talked about this in the news we just shot. Xbox One backwards compatible with Xbox One.
Okay, yeah, the original Xbox games. We're going to talk about this on the show, but do you want to spoil how non-excited you are right now?
I don't know. Like the Xbox One, I don't understand why we need why do we need to be able to use these discs again? Like, who's played an Xbox One game in 10 years? No one.
I just popped one in.
You did not.
I did. I just tried.
You're so full of shit.
I just plugged in. You can look on my floor.
I'm not going looking at your floor.
All right. There's an Xbox, original Xbox in there. I popped in Red Dead.
Oh, Jesus. Red Dead what?
What was the first one? Revolver. I popped in Red Dead Revolver to play around with that, and it looks
For like
old.
6 minutes.
It looks old.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
They all look old
Yeah.
from Xbox. The original
You know
Xbox
what I did
games.
plug in though was, and I Instagrammed about this, was Tempest 2000.
I really have to follow you on Instagram.
You do. You got to get an account first of all, and then follow me.
I have one. I don't use it.
Okay, Tempest 2000 on the Jaguar, still perfect. There are those games that are old that you play again, and they're still perfect.
Not very many, though.
That game is one of them.
You can
Robotron
count
is another
the
one.
ones that are still perfect on one hand.
I bet you Crimson Sky is still perfect. I'm going to find out.
I think
I
you'll
am
be
going
shocked.
to uncover
I think
that
you'll be
mystery.
shocked by how crappy it looks.
Well, I'll tell you one that is, because I checked it out when we got the 360 backwards compatibility with the original Xbox, was Hulk Ultimate Destruction. That game is amazing.
I like that game.
Yeah, I want to play that again on my Xbox One.
All right, well, you need to move on and play some new games.
I know.
Should anyone get around to releasing
making
new games, which no one is really in a hurry to do right now.
And it's Mad Max.
It's been such a weird time because,
Metal
listen,
Gear soon.
like the first part of this year, and certainly in the second half, all of last year, and maybe the last 2 years, has been about, like, let's make 8-bit, 16-bit games again.
I know.
And now now all of our consoles, our brand new Xbox One, it can play not only 360 games, but also the original Xbox games.
Yeah.
Always backwards. Always backwards.
Well,
let's look forward.
They're all taking a look at
What's new?
Nintendo is doing and winning with, which is its classic library. They
I
keep
know, but that's
reselling
enough
that.
of this shit.
I know.
Make some new stuff.
But every time they iterate on this new technology, it takes 4 times the amount of people to build these games and 4 times the amount of time. And it has happened every console
4
iteration.
times the amount of money.
And 4 times the amount of money. And also Steam has been killing it with back catalogs and sales and stuff like that. So everybody wants in on that stuff. So
I'm tired of the look back. Like, even us talking about it is celebrating the fact that backwards compatibility.
I'm excited. I like backwards compatibility.
I know, but who needs that shit? You still have an Xbox. Go dig it out if you really want to play Xbox games.
I hate. Yeah, but the effort involved in finding all the wires and all that stuff.
You will play like maybe five games from your Xbox library, and then you will go back to the future again.
We've been reviewing these classic cartridges this year, and it's been a lot of fun to go into those games. It's been a lot of fun. Not all of them work, but it's been illuminating to go back and see how these developers had nothing to work with, and they developed things that actually transcended the medium and made you have these imaginative leaps.
They had a sense of optimism, and they weren't being policed by marketing groups every 5 seconds about what they can and can't sell. They didn't also have hordes of lawyers just breaking down the door trying to not let them do something.
To be creative.
Like, it was just a different time.
Sure.
And sure, there was more freedom, but I don't know if we're ever going to have that freedom again. Maybe
Well,
in
actually,
the indie scene.
I think that there is a little bit of that freedom on the App Store right now, and there are companies like Hipster Whale that build this Crossy Road phenomenon, which sort of has set the new kind of bar for how you do these free-to-play type of experiences.
How many times a day do you play Crossy Road?
I've played that game a ton.
Each day, though?
Not every day. No,
Okay,
I don't go. I don't have time to go to every game that I dig every day. But I do appreciate when developers are handed a limitation, and free-to-play is definitely a limitation, and they subvert that, and they figure out a way to make it worth your time and worth your energy and worth your concern to play some of these titles. And that's what the old developers all had to do with 8-bit and 16-bit. They had to carve out an audience where there was none. You know, and it's the same kind of thing happening right now in some good mobile stuff.
Maybe these games are just so big and so expensive, and there's just so much over-the-shoulder looking groups who are just keeping an eye on everybody.
The AAAs, you mean?
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know. It makes the future look a little bleak to me, game-wise, because it used to be a much more playful time. Back in the time when we used to have, the age of shovelware.
Yeah.
Like, that was just a different time, and there were a lot of shit games that would come out, but every now and then you get a good one too.
Yeah, but now what's happening, I think, is that a lot of the cream has risen to the top in the indie space, and the technology keeps getting more and more powerful in the indie space, and now they've got a lot of engine capabilities and their own in-house built design stuff that is making these really cool 3D escapes, and they're getting stronger and stronger, and they really have become that middle ground, and they aren't making shovelware. They aren't making crap because it's coming from a sense of adventurous creativity, and all of the AAA market spaces, whether it's console or Steam or whatever, are clamoring around these ambitious indie people, and so we're actually starting to get a really, I think we've gone past that second wave of 8 and 16-bit as being fresh again, and now we're all into more 3D kind of imaginings.
A lot of the stuff in the App Store for the iPhone still.
Oh yeah, that's different though. I'm talking console and Steam. I think we are now on the beginning stages of the indie guys, the indie teams endeavoring to build this really, fleshed out, cool 3D experience. Look at The Long Dark, which was a Kickstarted game, which is set in Canada, and it's got, kind of rudimentary, not state-of-the-art 3D graphics, but it's a really engrossing, really rich experience, and it does feel like you're getting
too many games are being made.
Too many games
are being made, and too many games have been made for a long time. Now anybody who wants to make a game can make a game or somehow find a way to make a game. It's overwhelming. There's just too many.
Too many games and not enough of the AAA games that draw all kinds of external attention to.
Like Hollywood never had this kind of moment when everybody was making a movie and releasing it every 5 seconds. Like, this is something that's really unique.
They're in that moment right now.
Yeah, it's something that's really unique. I don't think so. I mean,
they're in that moment with all the VOD and all.
Yeah, but there's no way. There's no way for them to reach anybody ever. Like, there's still, either you go through a studio. Sometimes you can find a production company and get your film into the light, but no one can really do that. And I'm in the video game space, it seems like still everybody we know is just making just dozens of games every 2 days.
Yeah, and it's because the proliferate amount of platforms and the customer bases. I mean, we're seeing the age of people have downloaded video games 1 billion times. There are people that have downloaded Angry Birds or something like that 1 billion times.
What if all these guys went and instead of all of them making one little game, they got together and made one great game?
Well, I think that's happening too. I think that there's a lot of...
Because I don't want all these little games that I don't care about. I'd like one really great game. Well,
I think that's happening. I think indie developers are collaborating, coming up with some interesting things.
Yeah.
But... we're going through the transition. It's amazing how you and I flip-flop on our depression around.
What do you mean?
Because sometimes I'm bummed out by the lack of.
You were bummed out once.
But
all the time I've known you.
I feel like we're getting through it. When you see a game like Cuphead, which yes is 2D and it's a scroller.
Everybody's bitching about it already.
But it looks incredible.
It looks incredible, and for sure I still want to try it. But now I feel like, maybe the legs aren't very long on it.
That it's just
it's all boss fights. Like, who cares?
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, I was super excited for it at E3, and then I just feel like now I've had a reality check.
Yeah, but still, I mean, we've been given some real gifts like Shovel Knight and Guacamelee, and look at this Below game that Capybara is going to be delivering pretty soon.
There's some real gifts, but we've had to pan for gold to find them.
Yeah,
for sure. Throw away so much.
I want to play this Galax Z. Have you played this? Ben and Jose reviewed it on the show. Have you played it yet? No, that looks awesome.
Why do you want me to play it?
Well, it's a 2D space shooting thing. That's also a roguelike, and it's got an anime kind of vibe to it, like a Macross or Robotech kind of vibe to it.
Okay.
And it's been getting pretty solid reviews. It looks kick-ass to me. I can't wait to play that.
So we got the backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
Now Microsoft has said there's no stopping them. If you want backwards compatibility on the Xbox 360, that was great. Now let's do the Xbox.
Well, they don't know that yet. They're still sort of testing the water. But I think,
so is it still a rumor? It's not confirmed?
No, they're talking about it. It's not confirmed that it's coming, but they are definitely talking about it. But the other thing that is bubbling up, PlayStation 4 is going to have a huge update soon. And
are they going to start making games for it again?
Well, Shu came out and acknowledged the unbelievable, this Shu Yoshida over at Sony, the unbelievable, problem solving that's going on at Microsoft to deliver backwards compatibility. He tipped his hat in that direction, which leads me to believe that they are definitely working on some backwards compatibility patch for the PS4.
I don't know.
I think they're going to do it.
I don't understand why we need, this is a nice thing. It's a nice moment, but this is all the news we have.
Yeah.
Like the D23 stuff, let's go back and talk about, at least that's the future.
Yeah.
At least it's looking forward.
Yeah.
Blake, I feel like you wanted to say something.
Yeah, but I forgot what it was.
Okay, thanks, buddy.
Did we miss any other topics? We want to talk about Hitman? Want to warn these people about the Hitman movie?
Yeah,
People want to know what you think
did
of the
we review
Hitman
it?
movie.
We reviewed it. It's in the show today.
TV if you want to watch our review.
VPN.tv.
I like the guy who plays Hitman. What's his name? Rupert Friend?
Yes.
I thought he was good, and I thought the lady in it was nice.
Hannah Ware.
Yeah, I liked her.
She was great.
I thought she was very attractive. I hope she gets a full meal sometime soon and puts a little flesh on her body.
Well, can we just say, we want you to watch the review, first of all. You can watch it on the site or on YouTube. But we were both surprised that we liked it more than we thought we would.
Yeah, I guess my expectations going into a Hitman cinematic experience couldn't have been lower.
Yes.
They were negative something.
Yeah.
Well, I did not want to go at all.
And neither of us saw the original Hitman movie that they made.
No, and I have no desire to. And my love affair with Hitman, and it really was a love affair, it was very brief and very intense.
Yeah. Yeah, like all of your love affairs, physical and virtual. I can't wait for your love affair stories with the Oculus Rift.
I was so into the Hitman. I was so into it, and I was so into it I think it was on the original Xbox.
Yeah.
And I played the shit out of that game. I played so much of it. I memorized
Did you get to
all
the
the
point
map.
when you played the game though? Because this is what the movie felt like to me. Did you get to the point when you played the Hitman games where it's like, fuck it, I'm just going to shoot everybody. I'm just going to run through and start blasting.
I never did.
You're always careful? Because you love Tenshu.
I love stealth. I absolutely love stealth. I love it.
I love stealth in Metal Gear, but the other games they just drag on from me. Both of them, Tenshu and Hitman. I just was like, okay, I get it. I have to be quiet as a church mouse.
I just like putting on the different outfits. I remember at one point in the Hitman game I was playing, I poured a little medicine into borscht. There was a big pot of borscht in this
that was
mess
a good
hall.
one, yeah.
And then the waiter came in and took it away and fed it to the guy who was the guard, and the guard ate it, and then he went into the bathroom because the poison had made him have some sort of GI thing, poop. And then I just thought, I love this game. I love that it's so weird and dark, and I'm putting on all these outfits, and now I'm a chef, and now I'm pouring poison into borscht.
Aren't you a nurse in one of them, or am I thinking of Dark Knight?
I think you're thinking of your last role-playing session.
Oops. Did I say that out loud?
Nurse.
Oh, no.
What are you
Was
talking
I a nurse
about?
last night? Oh, well. Okay, anyways.
But I loved it, and then I just see this movie, and I don't know why he's got a red tie. I mean, I don't mind the
True, right? It's like his little superhero
so
costume.
Stupid, and he's got that stupid suit, and he's apparently, according to the movie, he sleeps just like this.
Yeah.
Like, that's Rupert Friend.
Well, and here's the thing about the movie. It feels like the people that made the movie played the games and had that same twitchy sensation that I have and just wanted to run through and blast everything because there are so many gunfights in this movie, it's ridiculous.
I liked it, though.
The action was awesome, but
the gunfights were okay.
It didn't feel like a Hitman game, though.
No.
Because the Hitman is...
I just don't know.
He's more of a calculated guy. He goes in, he tries not to create the ruckus.
Right.
And this movie was nothing but ruckus.
I don't know why they want to make Hitman movies.
Yeah.
Of all the different video game properties out there, why is this the movie you decide to make?
I think this was all tied to I think it was Sutton Trout, who used to work at IDOS back in the day, and he was
Sutton Trout.
He was big in Hollywood. He was doing all kinds of deals. He got the Tomb Raider thing off the ground. I think this is it all came out of that.
This is unfortunate that they keep trying to. I mean, I don't know. I never cared about him when I was playing the games.
Yeah.
I thought it was I thought it was a pretty good stealth game.
I actually thought that Hannah Ware in this movie would make a terrific Lara Croft. I actually thought that she would actually handle that
role. If she eats a sandwich at some point.
She'd have to eat a sandwich.
She'll probably collapse from low blood sugar.
And put on the Lara Croft.
But I don't know. Like this is August too. This should be prime time movie month. But it seems like the movie season kind of ended at July 4th.
Yeah, well, it starts in February now.
There's nothing.
So summer season begins like February 10th.
No, but it seemed like summer used to be about who's going to get what weekend for this AAA blockbuster. And then once a couple things released and it was kind of exciting. And after Jurassic Jurassic World, I don't remember anything else that came out that really was significant.
Right.
And I don't know how the summer got skewed this way. And now we got a lot of trash. We got this vacation movie. We got this, what's this movie we saw?
Vacation's Come and Gone.
Vacation's Come and Gone. It's just so many forgettable nothing. And we got Ant-Man. I guess that was the last big one.
That was a big one,
Was that
yeah.
before Jurassic World?
That was
or
after.
It just seemed like the way summer used to be spaced out used to be every weekend was an awesome movie.
Yeah, well, we have a bit of summer with, I guess Bond always comes out in the wintertime, but Star Wars is a summer movie that they pushed to December. So
Star Wars hasn't been a summer movie since 1982.
Well, it's been a summer movie all the way for all 6 of the previous movies. So it's a little weird that it's coming out at Christmas.
We don't count those.
We don't count the 3. So all 3 of the previous movies came out in May.
In 1982.
Yeah.
Is it 1982? Did I go too far back?
83. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Anything else going on?
Well, first of all, you asked Jose a question earlier.
Oh yeah, I did ask how it was.
It's not WrestleMania; it's SummerSlam.
SummerSlam. Sorry, dude.
Okay.
Sorry, every wrestling fan out there.
It hasn't actually happened yet. It doesn't happen until this weekend.
Oh, I see.
The actual event.
Okay.
He was at like interviews and stuff.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I have some questions.
I just know if there's sweaty men's, I send him.
Yes. I have some questions from the chat. If you guys are willing. Rybo15, our old friend Rybo, wants to know: are we excited for like Pokkén Tournament coming to the Wii U in North America? He asked, "Is it coming to North America?" It is. Pokkén Tournament, of course, is the Pokemon 3D fighting game. It's being made by the Tekken developers.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's like a Tekken fighting game with Pokemon characters.
Right.
And it's 3D. Yeah, you guys aren't Pokemon fans.
No, we're not huge Pokemon fans.
It's an arcade game in Japan right now, but it's coming to the Wii U.
Does it play a little like Smash Brothers?
I think it's more like, I haven't played it. It's only in Japanese arcades right now. But
or
it's
is it more like a Tekken game?
Yeah,
it's
because
more
it's made
like
by
a
the Tekken developers.
Cool. That sounds fun.
It's in Japanese arcades right now, and it's going to be released on the Wii U worldwide. Rybo didn't know if it was coming here. It is coming here, so
that's cool.
I know Marissa's probably really excited for that because she's a big Pokemon fan. So,
well, that's that's an awesome developer. I'm always curious to see.
Yeah, and it seems like a good idea because the Pokemon franchise is all about these characters fighting each other. So.
I played the Kirby Fighting Deluxe, which is like Smash Brothers on the 3DS, and that was actually pretty fun too.
Yeah,
it's all right.
Yeah, I took another trip last weekend, and I brought my 3DS with me.
Yep.
Once again, did not play the whole trip.
Dude.
I'm just on the airplane. I'm like, I'm not getting that out. And then I eat some peanuts and my plane is landed. What are you laughing at?
It's a great story. That's awesome. Please tell it again.
I've brought, the last couple trips, I don't bring the Vita anywhere.
Yeah.
The Vita's like being punished in a drawer.
The Vita sleeps.
Yeah, the Vita sleeps. It's hibernating for like 2 years now.
Yeah, someone on Facebook today asked us if we're going to review some game we just reviewed, if we're going to review the Vita version.
Yeah.
And I think no, because, like Scott was saying, right, we've sort of forgotten about the Vita.
We have a little bit,
It's not our fault.
Yeah.
It's Sony's fault.
Yeah.
So Sony has forgotten about the Vita.
Yeah, I mean, there are still games coming out for it. I think there's a Persona game that's out for right now, like a dancing Persona game or something.
Dancing Persona game?
Yeah, something. And that stuff's still happening, but Sony's letting it sort of rest on the shoulders of the third-party people to decide if there's going to be any interest in any of this stuff. They're out doing all of the hype and all of the promo and all that stuff.
What is Sony spending all their money on right now?
VR, man. They're going to come out strong with Morpheus. It's going to be an interesting thing that they got coming out next year. The games, of course, I didn't put the thing on at E3.
I put it on, not at E3, at GDC.
Yeah, but the games are supposed to be really badass. They got some good developers and should be really fun. So next year we'll be playing those.
Speaking of Sony, somebody asked, Jimmy Woods 31 asked if we're excited for Until Dawn. This is a PS4 game that comes out next week, and I completely forgot about it.
Yeah, that they haven't.
There's been no press or anything about this game.
Did we get Did it come to the office?
No, we haven't.
No,
I don't even know if they're sending out review copies.
Yeah, they sent me a note that it was on the way, so it should be here soon.
That doesn't bode well for a game if it's supposed to be a big game.
Steve and Raju are going to be reviewing it, so they've got it. I'm excited to hear what they have to say about it. I do want to check it out. I remember doing the interview for that game, and the developers have been in the business for a long time, and they really wanted to make a horror movie type experience. So
when you did that interview, it was a couple of years ago, right?
I know.
And it's changed. The title has changed, and the concept of the game has changed a couple times.
Wow.
So I'm kind of worried about it because it's changed hands so many times. It's like kind of like the Fantastic Four of movies. When a game changes its concept over and over again,
when games take their time, usually that means it's a good thing. Usually that means that they're figuring it out to make it more palatable to the marketplace. But this is exactly what we're talking about. How long it can take to come up with something new in the game space, and just how much of an enormous risk it is. And maybe Sony didn't promote or hype this thing up because they got burned on that Order 1886 so badly. They came out strong with the hype on that thing, and that was a piece of crap.
I mean, I'm trying to think of stories from video game history where a game, the original version of a game, changed so dramatically to the final version. Can you remember a game that was almost like a cave painting for the game it turned out to be?
Ooh.
And BioShock certainly went through a lot of changes, some of which we do know about, and some of which...
Well, we can think about games that you can tell had a much bigger design ideal or idea, and then ended up being much shorter, or really falling short from that. And the first one that always comes to mind is Force Unleashed 2.
That was a disaster.
Right, it was.
I read something about that recently.
Huge chunks were just ripped out of it.
Well, I read that it was originally just supposed to be DLC, then they just tried to make a bigger game out of it, and it really still had the feeling of DLC.
It was so small.
Yeah, so small.
Yeah.
I feel like there is one that I just can't think of right now. I got to get on the internet. I got to do some research. I got to figure this out.
Usually what happens in games is that the concept art and the spec stuff, and even the vertical slice that the developers, maybe if they're pitching to a publisher or whatever, create to show what's capable, all of that is bigger and better than what is actually realized, because there are so many concessions made when you try to make a finished product along the way.
That happened with BioShock Infinite.
Oh, I'll tell you one that was a huge change was Fuse.
Oh, yeah, that was huge. Yeah.
Right? That was going to be a lot like the Blizzard shooter that's coming out next year in terms of Pixar-like look and sort of accessibility. And then Fuse turned out to be garbage at the end of it all. Just totally forgettable garbage.
The only black mark on Insomniac's record.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
I feel like there are other ones. Maybe that'll be a homework assignment for 2 weeks. We'll talk about it.
There was the equivalent to that from IDOS. I forget the name of it. There was Brink from Bethesda and Splash Damage, which had an amazing art style and lots of cool things, but it ran like crap.
This is a fascinating thing to think about. But this in particular, because you just know, and Blake, you'll like this, but at Valve, you know that there are all kinds of assets, levels, entire levels, things built for Half-Life 3, for sure.
Yeah.
You know there's a new Portal, for sure, and it's just not good enough.
Yeah.
It's not up to Valve standards. And I love the fact that we still do have developers, not many of them, who have that kind of money, who can take that kind of time and make something that's really important. Half-Life 2 is still fantastic. Still one of the best experiences I've ever had. And how old is Half-Life 2?
Half-Life 2 came out in 2004.
2004. Yeah,
Half-Life 3 was supposed to come out 7 years ago.
Yeah, well, they're working on it. I'm sure they are. Have you ever been to the Valve offices?
Yeah. Last Guardian might end up being a little bit like that, Hopefully it's better than what we see.
I do wish sometimes...
This is a great topic. The other one was the Watch Dogs, which had an amazing reveal, not just visually, but conceptually. And then you play it, and it's like, okay, this is kind of like Grand Theft Auto with cell phones.
Yeah. But, there's a whole side of the business that that's never really revealed. And we know some of the things from doing the EP stories, but there's a lot of it we will just never know. And everybody signs NDAs, and all of these things are just stories that go into the video game vault.
Right.
And we never will know the reality of what these I don't know. We never will. Like, there's just never, that stuff's never going to see the light of day.
Well, I true in that regard, but I also feel like we have got to cross over this sense of awe about the difficulties of the business in video games, and just understand that it's human beings on the shoulders of other human beings crafting the best stuff that they can, and just accept it as an art form and critique it as an art form. But I think we get mired in this, kind of unbelievable expectation for each one of these things to be an over-delivering masterpiece, and then the equivalent would be the other direction of it's just an abysmal failure, and it's a pox on the whole industry, you know.
Right.
And I don't think that it is that black and white. I think that there is a tremendous amount of gray, and I think that we need to get to the point where when something like Fuse comes out, that we really hold them to task in the same way that Josh Trank's Fantastic Four might be a career killer for him. It's got to be that level of like cultural, like past the business mechanics and the oh my god it must be so hard bullshit about video games, to the come on, you can do better than that, and we expect better than that, and you have now got to prove it to us on the next one.
I have a really good one. A game that changed a lot during development. Jimmy Woods 31 pointed it out. Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
The first Devil May Cry game from way back when started development as Resident Evil 4.
Right.
And then it became Devil May Cry, and then Resident Evil 4 became something totally different.
Yeah.
So that was a game that started.
Devil May Cry, there was a bug in the game that gave the main character this ability to levitate and fly up into the air.
That's a book right there.
That became, I don't know if it's a whole book.
No, not just on that game. That would be like a coffee table book on the bugs that spawned new games.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this. I just thought of this, but the original Pac-Man game, we just saw him in Pixels.
Yeah.
Pac-Man had a handlebar mustache.
No way.
No, he did not. That was a joke. Not a very good one.
And then he ate it. He delivered it with
then he would drive around and he would eat cans of beer. Like it wasn't yellow dots.
Everything's different in Japan.
And then he would eat one giant malt liquor ball, and then he would turn into a crazy person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
A real story about Pac-Man. It was originally called Puckman.
Right.
But I think that's what it's called in Japan.
Yeah.
But they changed it here because they were afraid that kids were going to scratch out the P in Puck and make it the F word.
Make it a dirty word.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm always afraid of seeing dirty words.
Yeah. Don't say or see dirty words.
No.
Okay.
That's a very interesting topic. We'll revisit it again on future episodes of Vic's Basement.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to sports and weather.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the Star Trek 3 leaked set footage?
I just saw the picture.
Yep.
Looks okay.
Star Trek.
Yeah.
Is there any nudity?
No, it's an alien though.
Yeah,
alien
there's
lady.
like a white alien that is new to the. So they're not just digging up old shit. They're actually trying to
50
make.
years of Star Trek next year, man.
They're trying to actually introduce a new alien race.
Who's directing this?
Relive on everything.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that?
Who is directing it?
Oh, Justin Lin, who directed the last couple of Fast and Furious movies. Because JJ doesn't want to do it because he's too busy on a sci-fi franchise that isn't as good.
He did 6 though, not 7.
Yeah, he did 4, 5, and 6.
And 7 is
James Wan.
James Wan. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Oh, and Justin Lin also did the G.I. Joe movie.
Oh yeah.
Right.
No, he did. No, that was someone else.
The Rock.
No.
Wasn't it?
Was it? It might have been. I don't know.
So are you excited for the new Star Trek? You want more? You seem so bitter after Star Trek 2.
Cautiously, well, Star Trek 2 sucked.
No.
But JJ's not involved anymore. He can go ruin that other Star franchise.
Vic, now what? Now what? Now what?
Did you like the first Star Trek game or movie? You thought
Yeah, it was good. It wasn't really a Star Trek movie. It was a fun movie, though. It was a good movie.
A good movie.
Yeah, this could be a good movie too. I'll give it a try. I hope it's going to be good. But yeah, I mean, I don't trust J.J. Abrams very much, so he's not really involved.
What do you want to see in this one? Do you want to see Spock and Kirk kiss?
That would be I see them
happened.
kiss every night in my dreams.
Oh, that's nice.
I would like, this isn't going to happen, but I would like a smarter plot that has a lot of meat and a lot of stuff like classic Star Trek. Gives you something to think about, but is also entertaining and has good action.
Here's what I predict.
Like the Wrath of Khan.
Here's what I predict will be in Star Trek 3: Tribbles, and they will go back to 1930s gangsters.
Probably not the 1930s thing, but there probably will be tribbles in it.
Because you know what they're doing is they're just handpicking what the general audience has seen.
But no, that's the thing.
Years of imagery.
That's the thing. This new alien lady that they showed in the leaked stuff, it's new. It's not like they could have easily made it something obvious, but it's something. It looks like a new thing that we haven't seen.
And she's
before.
a co-star. She's not just a.
Yeah, she's a new character they're introducing. Yeah, so that I mean that makes me look. I'm looking forward to the movie more now than I was the other day before I saw this footage because they're not just doing Klingons or Romulans so they can sell another action figure.
Zachary Quinto is in Hitman. He's okay in that. He's all right.
I like him. I mean,
remember him in 24?
No, I never watched 24.
Oh, no. Great show.
But I like him as an actor, though. He has an interesting face. He's got crazy eyebrows, and I don't know. I think he's a good actor, and he has a strange role in the Hit. I mean, I don't even know much to say about this Hitman movie, but he was one of the most interesting things about it.
For sure, yeah.
I always feel like, I want to take Zachary Quinto out of this and put him in a better movie.
We are edging towards that good video game movie. Which one do you think it's going to be? You think it's going to be Assassin's Creed?
Why do we want a good video game movie?
They're going to make it. Uncharted is on the docket for 2017. One of these things is going to be good.
Why don't we stop wishing for an Uncharted movie and let's start wishing for a new Indiana Jones or something else?
Well, you're going back on yourself there. You want new.
I know I am, but I'm just.
And you don't want.
I'm trying to pare it down from good video game movies. I don't care about video game movies.
Who would you want as Nathan Drake if they are making this movie? I don't
know.
Who do you want? Who do you want?
Hervé Villechaize.
Bring him back.
All right.
Squish him and work him into the movie.
Did you see that? The thing from the Star Wars set the other day was Chewbacca without his mask on underneath? William Shatner.
No. Is Shatner in Star Trek 3? Finally?
Star Wars.
Well, no, the rumor was that they wanted to get Shatner and Nimoy to be in the movie together, but then Nimoy died, so I don't know if they're going to get Shatner without Nimoy. Maybe they will, maybe they won't.
Yeah, he died.
But the screenplay has been completely rewritten since that rumor came out. This rumor came out last year.
Yeah.
And they completely rewrote the movie before shooting.
Yeah.
Which is good. Another thing that actually makes me excited about the movie, because Roberto Orci, who wrote the screenplay originally, sucks. So Simon Pegg rewrote it. So that,
Oh, yeah, he did. Simon Pegg wrote the script.
And Simon Pegg knows his shit, so.
Guys, it was a funny experience I had last night. Let me tell you a little story. We went to a screening. We saw a movie called No Escape. And we can't talk about it because Vic and I have a review to shoot for it. But something funny happened during that movie because I'm watching it and I realize I do this all the time. And this may help you understand my movie reviews on the show. I start picturing where it's going to go. And if the movie follows what I'm picturing, my score is going to be much higher.
Yeah.
But if what I'm picturing is so much smarter, so much more intelligent than what the movie actually does, my score plummets. And that's a little bit of what happened in the movie that we saw yesterday. But I had the promise of a good movie there at the start. There were some interesting things happening, and I thought, this is getting really dreamlike and surreal, and I don't know what's real. And then all of a sudden it just goes to a painfully obvious place, and it just stays in that painfully obvious place. And I'm thinking back to Looper, which I loved, and I know you liked quite a bit too. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking also of Edge of Tomorrow, and those were movies where, like
District 9,
my thread of where I wanted to go, the movie basically went there, and then it went to some places I didn't even anticipate.
Yeah.
And when that happens, that's such a special moment.
For sure.
And it's so rare, and I want that moment. Maybe I want it more often than I'm having it.
Yeah.
I'm not having it enough.
Sure.
I came up with 2 examples. That's it.
Well, I think the superhero movies, when they really work, like the Avengers movies, they do that because you don't anticipate being able to see what's, it's the bulk of Hollywood's visual effects community coming together to craft something we've never seen before, and that's their job. Right?
Intellectually stimulated, but I also want to have an emotional stimulation as well.
Sure, yeah.
And I feel like that was maybe true of the first Avengers, but it wasn't as true of the second one. Intellectually interesting, some smart things happening. I'm trying to understand it. I don't know if I even understood it fully, but emotionally, I really didn't feel very much.
Well, it was very crowded too.
Yeah, there was a lot. It was very busy.
Yeah,
but it's a funny thing. I don't know. Do you do that too? Do you try to guess where the movie's going, and then do you base your judgment on how well the movie follows it?
I probably do without
being conscious of it.
Yeah, I probably do for sure. I'm always trying to especially if it's a good plot, I'm trying to kind of predict or unravel where the writers are going to take us.
Yeah, I kept doing that in the movie we saw last night. I'm just like, oh my God, you guys went to the stupidest place and you're just going to stay there. Sorry, I'm kind of reviewing.
Yes, you are.
That's all right.
Any questions for us?
Yeah, I got a couple.
Luke the Drifter wants to know.
Luke the Drifter has found some internet.
Yeah. He drifted right on in here.
Yeah.
He wants to know if Vic and Scott, what are your favorite musical artists? You obviously there's more. I got to read all of it. Okay. I don't want to have another repeat. I don't want him to get mad at me like Ben Silverman did. You obviously frequently discuss video games, movies, television, and comics. I'm curious to hear about your musical interests as well.
Well, Leonard Cohen.
I'm not going to say that. You say it.
I know you were going to say it.
No, I'm not.
So it's said already.
It's Tom Waits.
Tom Waits and Leonard Cohen. I don't know.
Actually, I love Tom Waits. Who do you like?
Tom Waits. I love that.
Yeah. Who else?
Tony Bennett.
Come on.
I like.
Drop it.
Frank Sinatra.
Come on, drop the share.
Drop what?
Come on. Let everybody know your share fixation.
Blake, what do you like? Oh, I do like
Bob
Cher.
Dylan.
What are you saying?
Bob Dylan.
Oh my God. I don't want to talk about music.
Why not?
I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't have a relationship with music right now because I'm on a journey, man.
Okay.
I'm not, you know what? Honestly, I haven't really listened to music in a couple of years. I haven't. And lately I've been listening, and I talked about this at the camping show.
Yeah.
Forgot about a camping show.
Yeah.
But I talked about I've been listening to a show called All Songs Considered.
Actually, that was cut for time. Sorry.
Yeah. Was it really?
We had to cut that out for time, yeah.
Okay, so it's not on the camping show. Most of my stuff that's on the show now has been cut for time. But I listened to a show called All Songs Considered, and that got me back into music a little bit.
Right.
And it's just two guys. It's kind of like this show, except there's a girl here sometimes.
Yeah.
And they just talk about music, and they start playing songs for each other, and they have a discussion.
Have you heard Jake Bugg? You ever heard this guy?
No, I don't know.
He's really good. He's really good. He's a kid. He's like 20 or 21, but he's got it's like a 1960s rockabilly sound, not a 50s rockabilly.
Yeah.
It's like a almost like a
Beatles. Freak of nature, then.
He's really good.
But he has no real soul. He's 20. He hasn't lived.
No, the music is good. It's
he
tight,
has
man.
fake soul. He hasn't lived enough life to have real soul.
I love the Arctic Monkeys, and those guys were a bunch of kids when they were at their peak with that stuff. I love Block Party.
I think when you're a kid, you get lucky and make a couple of good songs or a couple of good albums, but very few.
What about Bright Eyes? That guy was very young. Connor Obst or whatever his name. That guy was super young, and he was building and crafting amazing songs.
Yeah, he's great.
Bob Dylan, who our kid
he had a long
here,
career after that.
Huge career, but I'm sure what he's referencing are the 20-something Bob Dylan tunes. That guy he was meant to do it.
Listen,
even old, Elvis Costello in his heydays.
This question is answered.
Okay, Ryan Adams also amazing. There's another auteur, and Tom Waits.
Okay, Jean Nicholas wants to know. Can video games, I think this is in regards to Hitman, can video games translate to live-action movies like movies get a video game? So I think he's talking about...
Can they? Of course they can. They just haven't been able to figure it out on a real quality kind of level yet.
I don't know why we want this, though.
Right? Like, stories that work in a video game might not work in a movie and vice versa.
I don't know why we keep trying to cross worlds. Video games can do anything, and let's untether ourselves from film, from TV shows, from that kind of storytelling.
It's not a competition.
I know it's not a competition, but free yourself completely from telling these very traditional kind of narratives that we're still trying to tell in video games. Why are we doing this still?
Movies are a reflection of the human story and all of its weird varieties.
But video games can tell stories that no other medium can tell. Let's start working on that problem. I don't need Uncharted to tell me an Indiana Jones story which is based on 1930s. Like, who gives a shit? Tell video game stories that only video games can tell.
Do you know what video game does that? Half-Life 2.
No, I think Portal does it better than Half-Life.
No, Half-Life 2 does it
better. There's a Portal movie coming, and there's probably
I don't want a Portal movie.
The way the story in Half-Life 2 is told could only be told in a video game. You could tell that same story, but if you made a movie out of it, you'd have to tell the story in a different way.
And guys, I mean, you can't just sort of sever off the mediums and say that this doesn't deserve to be transposed or ported over to something else like that. It's like saying you can't.
I'm saying stop aspiring to that. Stop making that the benchmark. Yes, they are. They all are.
People want to see these characters live in other kinds of ways. I want to see Nathan Drake on screen.
But when you're talking about the characters can. But when you're talking about a specific story, like it's like what Alan Moore says. He gets pissed whenever they turn his comics into a movie because the type of stories he's telling,
they're rich with parable,
they're
meaning,
tailor-made for being a comic, right?
Totally,
and might not translate to film. It's kind of some video games and some movies can transfer over, but a lot of them can't.
Tell stories where you can bring your own personal will to bear on the world.
I think
if you're just passively watching cutscenes and then shooting guys between the cutscenes, like, fuck that. I don't want to do that.
Well, I mean, that's most video game stories.
That's stupid.
And most video game
not
stories
good enough.
Follow a very linear kind of way for us to, seep ourselves into those universes. And they would translate perfectly to movies if the movie makers worked with the developers to craft stuff that felt true to the form. And same with comic books. When you read comic books, you're like, well, these panels are framed like movies. If the movie makers framed their frames like the panels and had characters that lived up to the writer's expectations in the books, suddenly you start to get pretty decent comic movies, like the Spider-Man stuff and the X-Men stuff.
But I keep thinking of, and this is not a great example, but I keep thinking of Monument Valley, which gave me a very strange feeling that I don't think I really get from TV shows or from films. I had a very strange curiosity about it. I didn't really understand it. My brain was kind of just chipping away at it and turning it over, and I really enjoyed that. And I don't know. I want games to have that kind of originality. I don't want them to just say, listen, we just, like, even when we're watching the Uncharted 4 trailer at E3, I'm just like, this looks like every goddamn action movie I've ever seen. Who gives a shit? Now I can participate in the action scene? I don't want that. That's not a fantasy for me.
Well, I love that.
I know you did.
And I would love that movie, and I think that's the thing with movies and games is they come in a ton of different flavors. I had a great conversation with Rob Pardo, who worked on World of Warcraft, about the utter non-need for story in video games because users will generate their own crafted stories and through their own experiences. And yes, that works to a degree, but Warcraft in that fantasy setting is as relevant to the universe and relevant to the gaming medium as Skyrim is. And Skyrim is ripe with narrative and it gives you tons of direction and tons of plot to follow along with, and an Elder Scrolls movie can be envisioned because of that. A World of Warcraft movie seems pretty difficult, and that's why it's not World of Warcraft that Duncan Jones is working on. He's working on an orcs versus humans movie based on Warcraft as an in general type of conversation or in general kind of film.
Not interested.
Yeah.
I'm just not.
I mean, source material is coming from all kinds of interesting places for everything. Whether you're making a game based on comic characters or movie characters that you dig or universes that were crafted somewhere else.
I don't need that. I don't need it. Like I
mean, you get bored if it was all Monument Valley. If it was all just esoteric, tweaky art stuff.
I'm okay just having this little slice of video game on my phone that I can participate in when I'm comfortable participating or I have a minute.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I need a feature-length film about Warcraft.
Well, get ready for the feature-length film on Angry Birds, because that's coming.
I don't care about that.
That's being made in Vancouver.
A bunch of people in the chat
are asking about Allison Road, which is the fan-made, I think they're kickstarting it, spiritual successor to PT, the Silent Hills playable teaser, which has been canceled.
I know nothing about that.
Yeah, so the gist of it is that Konami canceled PT. A lot of people want to play that because they like that demo.
Yes.
So now some fans are getting together and making their own game that's a lot like that.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
I liked PT. I don't know. Did you guys play PT?
Yeah, I had to turn it off and uninstall it because it freaked the shit out.
It was fun, but. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to play that game for 30 hours, right?
It was freaking me out.
What did it do? Was there an old wheelchair?
No, it was just
it works as a demo, but it would get old. Like you couldn't just walk around the same hallway for 30 hours.
It just made me feel so icky and gross and like it was
Hotline Miami.
No, it was different. It was just like it was constantly screwing with the environment around. You're really just walking down hallways and stuff just keeps changing. And
it's very psychological.
Yeah, it was like, oh my God, I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Do you guys think Slender Man is real?
No.
Sorry, who?
Slender Man.
No.
All right.
Okay, Dave from NB.
Yep.
Maybe Nebraska, New Brunswick.
Brunswick, maybe?
Maybe, whatever. He wants to know, is the Darth Vader PS4 worth it?
I mean, I would jump all over that if I didn't already possess.
You already have
two,
a Batman one,
and a third one is coming soon. Yes. So yeah, I'm abstaining. I'm not getting the Darth Vader.
What do they do for you?
They're just cool, man. It's another.
But you don't
it's
need
another, manifestation of something that you appreciate.
But you already have one.
I know.
You have two already, and now you want to get a third.
No, I'm not getting it. I do want it though.
Okay.
You can get it for me for Christmas.
Okay.
Then I don't have to purchase for it.
How about this year? You get me a gift.
Okay, I'll get you a gift this year.
Give me one of your PlayStation 4s.
I'll get you. I'll wrap up some dignity and I'll give it to you.
Oh.
Okay. Vagabond Knights says, "Okay, Blake won't ask this, but I'll try anyway. So F you, I am asking it."
Whoa! Gauntlet thrown.
I get the feeling Vic has totally overlooked Bloodborne. There's no question mark at the end.
No, I played it, but I had to move on. I don't have the hours and hours.
Listen to me. You make time for it.
I've played Batman twice.
It's the most important game of the last 5 years.
No, I played Batman twice. I didn't like it as much as you did.
I didn't like Batman as much as you did. And the world keeps turning. I don't know how.
I mean, I think it's amazing, but I find the time punishment on that. I like to progress. Especially after I've reviewed
games
something
like Batman that kind of finish themselves.
Well, I like to be able to sit down and feel like I'm getting somewhere.
I know.
Especially after I've reviewed something, because I've crammed to get the review together.
It's a great game.
And then I go back.
As far as I'm concerned, that is game of the year.
Okay. Well, we will discuss.
And I don't know. We got to see what happens in Q4.
Yep.
But right now, it's
Halo 5 is coming.
It's not going to be enough.
Disney Infinity 3 is coming.
Not even close.
Lego Dimensions is coming. They got some Doctor Who in there.
Float arts for everyone.
What do you guys think about the Grand Theft Auto franchise? This week, Rockstar announced that Take-Two has announced that it sold 220 million copies worldwide.
I don't know how to make sense of that. I know it's a lot. It's a huge number. But as far as I'm concerned, it's already sold 1 billion copies. I don't know. That's great news for them. They're super rich. I'm sure they're making more GTAs. But for me, there's no benchmark. What do I even compare that to? I don't know. It's great.
Yeah.
I don't really read it as good news.
Well, here's a
I'll find some sales figures.
No, that's okay. You don't have to.
No, but here's probably a good way to measure it, and how far video games still have to go. Like the top-rated movie or top-rated television shows in history, MASH final episode would probably be one of them. They would probably get up to about 40 or 50 million people watching in one night at one time, all gathered together to watch something.
Maybe more than that.
Maybe even more than that. I don't think that Grand Theft Auto 5, and it's one of the top selling of the Grand Theft Auto games, has got to 50 million people around the world, around the whole world. And we were talking about just 50 million Americans gathering to watch one thing. Maybe the Super Bowl gets 75 million.
So funny.
We have a long way to go. And even though everybody talks about the final dollar amounts and the huge, billions of dollars of huge picture around the success of the industry, it has a long way to go for cultural acceptance and relevance, like other medium out there. And that's also why we are seeing so many movies made about video games. They're seeing it as a natural way to grow interest in the market.
Okay, I have some figures here. According to the prestigious Wikipedia, Mario is obviously the winner at 509 million units.
All told,
all of them. But I mean, there's 509 million Mario games. So,
yeah.
And then the next one after that is Pokemon at 270 million.
Holy crap!
So that means Grand Theft Auto is number 3 behind Pokemon.
Right.
And then right after Grand Theft Auto is Call of Duty at 175 million.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's some nice perspective. Oh, then depressingly, The Sims is also tied.
Well, and this is the thing. And why I created the show in the beginning is because I felt like these games, not necessarily these titles, but games, deserved as many people as the top-rated TV shows to be interested in them. I felt like, as anybody that's a consumer of all of this entertainment knows, games are the best. They're the most enjoyable way to spend your time. When you escape into those worlds and you're manipulating the characters and the cameras and the choices, it's way more enjoyable than just sitting back passively and being entertained, I think. And I feel like the potential is limitless and it needs to grow, but it feels like the industry, through its own sort of bumps and scratches and miscalculations and greed and sort of crazy kinds of stumbles through all of this, has done a lot of harm in growing its own sort of value in the space, you know? And also, you know, all of these traditional game companies kind of letting the door open for an upstart like Apple to come in with an app store, and Google as well, and take all of those developers and all of that development and all that imagination away from what had been built for 30 years was a pretty big upheaval, you know? But I think that we have a long way to go, and we have to get a lot more people playing.
I mean, I love games, but I feel like there are some movies I love and TV shows that I love, and they're all about the same, and they're all of excellent quality, and it's hard to find really good ones, and that's kind of what we do on the show.
Yeah, but I think, you know, if you had to pick your best escapism moments, are they coming from games, or are they coming from movies?
I don't know if they're coming from games anymore. I mean, I don't know.
Let's look back.
The last couple of years, I've gotten so much from television that I sort of gave up on. It was a medium I gave up on.
And TV had to respond to the threat. They had to respond to the threat of games and reality television and movie budgets that were all going to $200 million blockbusters. So they had to come up with something to keep Hollywood employed, and they worked really hard to build us some great stories.
And then Fantastic Four happened.
Yeah.
Time here.
Okay.
So what are we watching and playing this weekend?
I'm still. We're in the final stages of clearing out of the old studio, so I've been working my butt off.
Did you find anything in there? That's like an archaeological dig.
Yeah, I mean, I found the Jaguar connectivity stuff. So I'm digging into some of the. I'm doing some archaeological gameplay.
But what game in particular? Anything off the top of your head you got to get back to?
Well, you know, I talked about Tempest 2000, but the other thing that I threw in was Alien versus Predator for the Jaguar, and that was pretty amazing. You know, it was way ahead of its time. I will be playing some Mega Man Legacy. I want to play some of those old classics.
Yeah.
That comes out on Tuesday.
Yeah, and anything to watch. I mean, I'm really looking forward to next week because that's when all of the big stuff starts to come in. I can't wait for Metal Gear, and I can't wait for Disney Infinity 3.0.
I can't believe it's September.
I know. It's crazy.
Time to go back to school.
I know. It's crazy. In terms of watching something,
you just watched Wet Hot American Summer. Didn't like it.
Yeah. And you know what? I just finished Sense8, and I guess I'm going to be looking for my next Netflix Jones. But I love Sense8. Sense8 in its totality. Great show, and you should watch it.
Not watching it.
All right. What are you going to watch?
I've seen enough of it.
Okay. Watch and play. What are you doing it?
I'm going back to Bloodborne.
Okay.
Because
now we
talked about it, and I got to finish it. I haven't beat the final boss.
All right. Okay.
I'm going to be playing Grand Theft Auto Online. If anybody's on the PS4 and wants to add me, I'm Bad Blake S.
I'll
play with you. I need people in my crew for my heist. Okay, I think that's it.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Stitcher.
Vic's Basement would like to thank its sponsors, EB Games, Nintendo, Xbox, and Gameloft, makers of Dragon Mania Legends, which you can play for free right now.